Did you know that, according to the Colombian Ministry of Defense, there were more than 2,149 wounded during the 2021 social explosion protests? That leads us to ask what is going on with social protests in Colombia. And you might also ask, why is this useful? Well, I'd say that understanding the way in which we as Colombians express our unconformities against the state, but not only the state, also against others, might help us make a force a better society. I am Jonathan Nakona, a political science student at Los Andes University, and I have done research in the area for 6 months, including interviews with protesters, but also with police officers that were present on the 2021 protests. And let me say that we, as a society, might need to reconsider the way in which we solve our unconformities and behave in tension situations. Let me begin by putting the three main problems I have identified over the table. And I'd say the first one, and also most logical one, is how we endanger lives of all involved in these situations, in these protests that evolve into dangerous situations. Not only the police officers' lives and the protesters' lives, but also the bystanders' lives are endangered in such situations. Accordingly, the delegitimization of the protesters and their concerns and petitions when these situations evolve into aggression is one of the also very big problems with these whole situations, since, and in the same way, the final inability to effectively and accurately solve and attend to society concerns and petitions is put over the table. Having in mind these three problems, I have now proposed two solutions that would involve the government but also society, including police officers and us. So, what do I propose? I firstly propose a government-funded community-based integration policy, which would have in mind getting into the communities, into nuclear communities such as neighborhoods, such as condos and etc., to get into a closer touch with people and socialize a little bit more how we behave in the situations I mentioned before. And on the other hand, we have taking budget from the army and redirecting it to the national police educative institutions for them to implement new de-escalation and avoidance of violent behavior in protests, consequently having better policemen, and not only this, but having better society members. You might find two main criticisms, or at least I have found two ways in which I could criticize my ideas. And the first one is that one could think that my first solution isn't actually innovative since it has been already tried before. But I'd ask you to have in mind that, and to take into account that most of these solutions have been done in a district dimension, not in a small and communal dimension. So all of these solutions have been proposed at a Bogota level, not at a neighborhood level, not at a condo level, and much more nuclear dimensions. And the second criticism I have found is that one could say that policemen and state forces are willing to anything but being more condescending with population. And let me say that based on my research and the interviews I have done with them, they are well aware of how disliked they are in society, and they are totally willing to listen to criticism, correct their mistakes, and do their job the best they can. So to conclude, I'd like you to live with this. That my aim is to encourage you to go further and practice the understanding of the fellow, so that we can make of our societies a better place to live, having in mind a lot of things about the other person, such as that they have their own problems and preoccupations before we engage in a violent behavior. So thank you very much for listening, and that was it.